And I'd say it's definitely concerning. I mean, how could it not be? I mean, when you're looking at some of the numbers that we're getting out of the earnings, you'd think the market would be doing far better than it is right now. But interpretations continue to look at two major things. One has been the tariffs. We've talked about that time and time again, and it continues to be something that gives the cloud right now that's over the market. On top of that, though, Scott, now all of a sudden you throw in Italy. I mean, not that we didn't have enough other things going on, but let's throw the Italy in there just in case, just to make sure there's a little bit more of something to stir this pot. When you put all that together, you start to look in these industrials, obviously, today. That's a big concern. But when you look at the earnings, overall, I'd say they still are very impressive. But there's all the questions after that. The guidance. How do we look at things going forward? How's this pay going to change things? There's all kinds of questions that we don't have answers to right now.
You know what a key change is, Steph, as well? Even the good earnings reports are not being rewarded. UTX today, Honeywell last week. So now you can report good earnings, and even if you're a cyclical stock, you're getting pounded with everything else. Why?
Yeah, no, it stinks. Every industrial, even the ones that have beaten and raised, like to your point about Honeywell.
Why is that?
Well, I think that it's a good excuse. I think it's, first and foremost, earnings season is always volatile. People just sell first and ask questions later. So there's that all the time. That happens, and that gives you your looks, right? That gives you your chances over the long term. But I do think, given the macro concerns, and then maybe not these perfect reports, there's like one little, nitty-bitty thing going on in each company, and that makes it very easy for investors to sell off these stocks. So I think it's too early to panic, because I do think later this week we get technology earnings, and I actually think technology and healthcare will actually be very good.
Tell you what, the last time, right, we got that Netflix report, and we thought it was going to be, very important to the overall market. Netflix rallied for a day or two.
I agree.
And that was it.
I agree with you on that, but I think Netflix has some issues with competition. I think there really, truly are some bigger picture questions with regards to Netflix. I don't think there's bigger picture questions with the cloud, with Microsoft, with Amazon, with Google, with not even with Twitter, especially since it's come down so much. So I kind of like the setup of tech and healthcare into earnings. Industrials, on the other hand, you got to pick your spots.
So, Michael, this cyclical sell-off we're talking about is getting broader by the moment. Semiconductors, by the way, are down 4% in a week, 11% in a month. The home builder ETF's been down 22 of 24 days.
Right.
Now, maybe you're getting a bid in some of those stocks because, as I said, they've been absolutely hammered. Auto's weak, industrials weak, CAT, 3M, you go back, PPG, Fastenal, some of these other names.
Yeah, I think partially to Stephanie's point, we're seeing a bit of a shift. As this market's pulled back, we've also seen this time, I think, psychology pull back with it. Okay, so during a bear market or a bear market phase, good news is discounted. It's dismissed. You're seen as Pollyannish if you want to say something good when the market's falling apart, right? And you're seen as being very wise if you say something very dour. If you really cling to the pessimism in a down market, you're seen as being a sage. It's just a phase of what the market goes through. I think what we have to watch here is if it's going to hold, right? If this shift to the sort of the bearish mentality, the negativism, right? The negative nattering nabobs that Nixon talked about, if they take hold, it's way too early yet. This is a market pullback. It's a repricing that I think is happening in here. And, we're struggling to find a bottom. Kenny Polcari says it's ricocheting around. Well, it's ricocheting lower today.
Yeah.